While the financial year 2013-14 is coming to a close today, the Union Finance Minister P. Chidambaram today cleared that India will enter the new financial year on a positive note. P. Chidambaram said everything has happened as per plan in this financial year. He said the year will end with a fiscal deficit of 4.6%. He said foreign exchange reserves have crossed $300 billion. He said by the end of the day, the expectation was to add $25 billion to reserves. He said current account deficit will be contained.
The year will end more or less as we planned. We will end the year with a fiscal deficit of 4.6% as planned. Our reserves today have crossed $300 billion US. We expect to add about $25 billion to the reserves by the end of today for the whole year. And the current account deficit, which was originally estimated at under 60 billion and then brought down progressively as we moved forward. The current account deficit is now likely to be much smaller, perhaps about $35 billion.
He said one will have to look into how the government had dealt with the challenges in the post-2008 scenario.
What has happened over the last 10 years is we must look at the period up to 2007-8 and the period thereafter. If political leaders, analysts do not recognize that what happened on September 15, 2008 was a watershed, I'm afraid they don't understand what's happening in the world. So one has to look at the performance of the UPA up to 2007-8 and then what kind of challenges the country faced and the government faced and how we tackled those challenges post September 2008.
He said history had been repeated once again with the way the economy was looking at this point.
The most outstanding year in India's history in terms of economic performance. That was the year when our reserves had crossed $300 billion, $309 billion. And today I'm happy to report it has crossed $300 billion once again. That was the year when the fiscal deficit was lowest at 2.5. The revenue deficit was lowest at 1.1. External debt to GDP was lowest at 18%. The external debt service ratio that year and the following year were among the lowest, 4.8 and 4.4 respectively. Savings to GDP ratio was the highest, 36.8.
P. Chidambaram said India was looking at a more stable and stronger economy.
The economy today is far more stable and far stronger than what it was 20 months ago. And what we feared may happen has not happened. The economy is stable, and going forward, I can only see spirited growth in the economy. Provided, and this is the big proviso, provided the next government adheres to the 10-point agenda that I outlined in my interim budget speech. That is not a partisan agenda. That is not a party's agenda. That can be the only agenda of a nation that wants to go forward. That is the only agenda of anyone who's concerned about keeping India's economy, India's flag high in a turbulent world.
This report was brought to you by NNIS.